Hey guys, it's Small here with What If Ben 10 joined Fairy Tail. I'm going to change a few things about this Ben 10, like give him Dom Ultimate mode and maybe make him a bit more durable. But it's not important because we can now cut to Ben 10 drinking a smoothie. But as he's drinking a smoothie, he thinks to himself, lately everything's been so boring. Ever since he stopped Malturant, things have just been so boring. And all the big baddies have either been arrested or have stand down. And ever since Asma upgraded the plumber tech, now the plumbers can take down any threat that isn't Brocax or malware. With those guys no longer a threat, he has nothing to do. But he hates to admit it. Ever since Asma gave him Totem mode, he wishes he could use it more. And Ben 10 remembers his conversation with Asma telling Ben 10 how the new plumber tech works, but does not work. But then he asks for Ben's Omnitrix. And he asks why. And says just give it to him. He then says while working on it that El Perro has had an evolutionary function. He thought it was a mistake, but after seeing Ben use it so many times and help people with ultimate forms, he lets the times have changed, just in case he should need to. He has some extra power. He then gives him back the Omnitrix. Told him he had a evolutionary function. Not just that, he also had a few other things. Like a failsafe, for example. If it takes high level radiation, ice, or fire, and everything else in between, transform into form before any damage can be caused to him. If you cut back, Ben says, sadly, Atmos was wrong. There's any new big, and he kind of wishes he has something to do, but at the moment, there's nothing to do. But then that's when he hears an explosion and says, dang, my big mouth. He then gets a call from Rook, and Rook says, he takes the high energy levels from the center of the city, and says, on it, and transforms to Incinerate. As he's running, he sees something incredible. Some sort of rainbow black hole or something he can't describe. So he asks, what the hell is that? And Omnitrix also bugging out saying, danger, danger. And Ben says, so that's the warning system Asma told me about. But that's when Ben sees some sort of being walk out of the rainbow black hole. And this being is indescribable. And he asks, what the hell are you? But the being just appears in front of Incinerate and says, fine. But as the Incinerate tries to swing, he transforms back to normal. The limit says, how? That's when the being grabs Ben's wrist, and Omnitrix begins to spark. And Ben's like, what are you doing? But then he hears Omnitrix has been updated. And says, what? That's when he sees the man do something. He pushes his hand into Ben's chest, like Ghost Freak enters her body. Ben says, what the hell are you doing? Let go me. Before he can finish, he sees a second him being ripped out of him. Ben says, what did you do? Did you just clone me? But the being just says, quiet. He then drops the second Ben, or Ben clone, I'm not sure. And then he says, you will be going to Fairy Tail. Ben 10 clone says, I ain't going to no children's book. Before he can transform the being, throws him into a rainbow black hole. And he looks at the original Ben 10 and says, sorry about that. Had to copy your life for a second. He then disappears in some sort of bright light and taking his rainbow black horse with him. Once he disappears, all the damage he caused is gone. And when Rook and other plumbers arrive, they ask Ben, what happened? Ben just says he has no idea. But we're now cut back to the clone Ben. He asks, what the hell are you? After falling to a rainbow hole. But the being just says, have to make sure you put effort in or erase the memories of you being a copy. And then clone Ben says, wait, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm taking you down. But the being grabs Ben's head and messes with it before letting him go, so he can fall into another hole. But as he lands, he looks around and says, where the heck am I? Before he realizes he's falling, so, oh no. Then he transforms to Stinkfly and catches himself before he falls. But as he's flying, he sees some sort of medieval town or something like that. It seems to be oldish, not modern, but it's definitely not medieval. Like, it looks like they might have trains or something like that, but no electricity or skyscrapers. But instead of just landing in the city, Stinkfly transforms into his human form away from the city and walks in the city. As he goes around, he asks himself, what is this place? Then the entire city looks like it's really old town. As he walks around, he runs into a blonde girl with a blue and white shirt and a blue skirt. But as Ben says sorry, to hear, OMG, is Salamander. Salamander says, who? Lucy says, wait, he's here in this crummy town? Salamander says, is he a big deal? That's when the girl says, you haven't heard of him? He's a legend. The girl then says, I gotta see him. Even though Ben doesn't care, he thinks that's a huge crowd. He thinks, that'd be interesting. Like he has anything to do, he has to wait for Paradox. So Ben starts walking to it. As he gets close to it, his Omnitrix says, mind control detected. Then Ben says, hey, what? But as he goes near the guy, he sees all the girls spawning over him. And even Ben doesn't think this guy is that good looking. So he walks up and asks, what the hell is he doing to these girls? But before the good looking man can say anything, before the man can say anything, a guy with pink hair shows up and says, hey Igneo! But the pink haired guy arrives, arrives, yeah. Yes, who the hell are you? And the other guy says, oh, he's a salamander. But Nosu doesn't care, so he starts walking away. Then a bunch of girls attack him and say, what's wrong with you? You're so rude. And Salamander's a great wizard. Ben tells him, hey, leave him alone. And tries to pull the girls off of them while using his transformations. Because he doesn't want to transform, because they draw too much attention to him. Also thinking to himself, wait, he's a wizard? But then Salamander says, calm down, lovies. You didn't mean it that way. Then says, here's my auto cap, and Nosu says, no. We makes the girls beat him up again and throw him into a garbage can. And Ben decides to help him up, and Nosu saying, thanks, but then the guy uses magic and leaves. And Ben saying, dang, he's a cooler version of Heat Blast. But he seems like a creep. Then a girl comes over to Nosu and says, he thinks from the help from that creep and asks if he wouldn't mind if you treat him to food. And says, sure. As he starts walking away, they hear rumbling from Ben's stomach. And he thinks to himself, he really wished he finished his smoothing and fries before the explosion happened. Then Nosu says, hey kid, want to join us? Ben thinks to himself, the money might be different here and he has no idea where the food is. He says, sure. But the girl says, why are you banning him? Nosu says, well, since he helped me get up and tried to get those girls off of me, I thought it'd be nice. To mention, she's paying while pointing to Lucy, and Lucy's annoyed. But as Ben comes along, they walk into a nearby store, and while Ben eats a small steak, Natsu's eating an entire buffet. Ben thinks to himself, this guy can give Chuck a challenge. The blonde girl introduces herself as Lucy, but Ben asks, what was that guy? He felt like mind control being used. And all those girls are fawning over him. So Lucy says that the guy was wearing a charm spell. And he has no idea how he got it. They've been banned for years. That's when Ben says, the guy is manipulating girls and has an illegal item. Someone should stop him. Lucy says, the guards will handle it. But she hasn't joined any guild yet. So Ben asks, what's a guild? That's when Lucy says, how do you not know what a guild is? Then says, a guild is like an organization where wizards come together and share information. And that you're not a fully fledged wizard until you join a guild. And that's when Ben says, there must be a lot of magical people here then. Lucy says, it's hard to get into the more popular ones. And the one she wants to get into is the most popular. She then says, they're the greatest and they're always featured in Sorcerer Weekly. And if she can convince them to let her in, she might die. Another says, yeah, we're both saying interesting while eating. Bruce stops and says, sorry to you guys, this probably sounds like nonsense. But she's definitely going to that guild someday. And when she does, she's going to take a bunch of exciting jobs and make tons of money. If not, so just saying, oh yeah, saying you talk a lot. I've been thinking to myself, she's buying you food, don't be rude. And then Lucy says, she forgot, but didn't you guys say you were looking for somebody? And says, oh yeah, you guys said you were looking for somebody. Said Igneo? So, yeah, that's when Happy says, yeah, we're looking for Igneo. And that they heard a rumor that a salamander was coming to this town. So we came here to see it. Turns out it was just somebody else. Happy says, the guy doesn't look like a salamander at all. And Natsu says, no kidding, I bet he's supposed he can't breathe fire like a real dragon. Lucy says, she doesn't understand. And Ben says, is he a dragon or something? Lucy says, it can't be possible. But then Natsu says, no, Ben's right. He's a dragon. Which makes Lucy say, wait, what? Ben to himself, first wizards and now dragons? Well, not the first time we've seen a dragon. This world is weird. Then Lucy says, how's that possible? Aren't they supposed to be super rare? And more importantly, why would there be a fire dragon in the middle of the town? Ben says, she has a point. But Natsu and Happy have no comeback. Then Lucy says, well, she has to go and put some money on the table and leaves. She says, enjoy your food. Enjoy your rest of your lunch. But Ben says, thank you. But Natsu and Happy just bounces, thank you for the food. But Lucy says, stop it. And it's a gift for helping her out. But Lucy says, he feels sorry because he wasn't even trying. And Happy says, that Ben didn't even do anything. He just invited him because you helped us. And he seemed hungry. He says, he knows. And says, for why who's giving him a salamander's autograph. He says, no way, before leaving. But Ben says, well, he would love to talk. We just gotta go. And says, already? He says, not that you have food, you're just gonna dip. And that's kind of rude. Ben says that he's sorry, but he needs to find a way home. Doesn't have anything else to ask. He's lost. And says, we're not as likely, but Happy ask. He knows to get back. And Ben says, well, not really. She makes Happy and Natsu whisper to each other. And they feel kind of bad for him. He said, we should help you out, Ben. Ben says, I can hear you, but well, Ben is talking to Natsu. Lucy is talking to the salamander perv. And the salamander perv tells her that if she goes to his party, he can put a good word in her and let her into Fairy Tale. We're now cut to nighttime, and Ben is telling them it's okay, but Natsu says, hey, while they're here, you might as well help him get home. And tell him it's okay since he can't get home. And this Bellwood place he said he lives, is it on a map? And Happy says, maybe we can find it if he knows how to use a map. And it says, shut up. But then Happy sees a boat and says, isn't that boat the salmon was on? And Ben gets annoyed and says, so I should put that guy in his place. Then sees that Natsu's about to boat to, what's the word? I'm not sure. I think I messed up my script. I'm trying to figure it out, sorry guys. But like I was saying, he sees Natsu's about to throw up. And he asks, is he okay? That's when Happy says, Natsu gets sick easily. And just from motion sickness. And just think about a vehicle moving. It gives him motion sickness. We've been saying, it's pretty pathetic, he's not even on it. And Natsu says, shut up. But then they hear a group of girls saying, dang, that's Salamander's boat. That she wishes she could go on it. The girl asks, hey, who is he? And the girl says, he's a famous wizard from Fairy Tale. But Natsu says, Fairy Tale? And Ben asks if he knows them. But then Happy says, know them? They are Fairy Tale. He's never seen a guy like that. And says, he's an impersonator too. Ben says, I'm going to find that jerk. Tells Happy, we're going to that boat. Before Ben says, how are you doing, Nat? He then sees wings on Happy, and Natsu and him fly away. As they fly away, Ben says, hey, hold on. He wants to beat up that creep too. It's been a while since he's gotten into a fight. That's when Natsu looks behind him and sees Ben transform into Big Chill. That's when Natsu says, holy crap, are you a takeover wizard? He says that he was playing in our time. But as they're flying, he says, I've never seen a creature like him. And he says, doesn't matter. Let's teach this guy a lesson. And Happy and Natsu and Big Chill fly over to the boat. As they're flying, they see there's Lucy talking to a salamander. As he tries to use sleep magic on her, he says, that's horrible. You're not going to do anything with him. But Salamander says, there should be a hand, but that's when he relieves a set of curtains and revealed a group of unconscious girl. They then ask, what are you doing? What's going on here? But Salamander says, welcome aboard my ship. It'd be wise to behave until we make it to Bosco. And don't make me angry. Lucy is pissed and says, you're taking me to Bosco? You said you helped me get into Fairy Tale. Salamander says, forget it. He only said that so you get on board and become one of his slaves. Lucy says, how could you? As he tries to use her gate key, the salamander knocks out her hand. He tells her, so she's a celestial wizard, huh? Only wizards who are contra can use these keys. Says she has no use for these, for throwing them outside. But this pisses off Lucy. She says, use your magic to take advantage of other people? He's the worst wizard alive. But as the duck grabs Lucy, something happens. Something crashes to the roof. The real Natsu. But then Ben lands behind him, which scares some of the dogs. And asks, who is this guy and what is that thing behind him? Says, he doesn't know what's going on. But Natsu, help her. And bends down and gets ready to throw up. Says, you know this was a bad idea. Lucy says, you're so lame. Big Show says, he has to agree with her. She's kind of right. But then Lucy gets better look at Big Show and kind of strives to step back. But then Lucy says, what are you? And Lucy says, what the heck are you? Like, and then says, this guy tricked her and says she helped her get into fairy tale. But then Lucy says, is that Ben? When did you have wings? What type of magic is that? What points to the Big Chill. But Happy says, well, Ben's apparently a takeoff wizard or something. She says, oh, I never heard of that type of magic. But as the salamander and his henchmen watch, some thugs say, dang it, let's get this over with. But then Big Chill tells Happy to get Lucy out of here. And he handles this guys. But as some of the thugs charge at Ben just smiles and says, well, let's get this over with. And as one of the thugs tries to punch him, Big Chill goes intangible. And his hand just goes right through him. But he tries to punch him again. His punch goes right through him again and accidentally punches his friend. Doug says, you're gonna pay for that. He says, come on, man. Just chill. He then breathes a mist that freezes some of the dogs. But they look at Natsu, he asks if he's okay. But as Happy's carrying Lucy, they don't have to. Ben is trying to fight Salamander. So Natsu and Lucy can actually get away pretty easily. But as the other two try to beat up Ben and failing, Happy says, dang it, my time limit. And Lucy and Happy land in the water. Lucy starts swimming to her key. We now cut back to Natsu getting beat up as Ben is 1v5 people at once. Says, that's not fair. But somebody says, let's clip his wings. He might be worth something. But says, come on. He says, come and get me, perv. And as they try to strike him, he just goes intangible. But this time, the guy's wrist gets frozen. Someone says, how are we supposed to fight something like that? Also says, stop. Doesn't Ben see not try to get up? Look at Sammy. And asks if he's a member of Fairy Tail. But at the moment he sees a huge shadow, that's when Ben sees a huge shadow wave. So Ben decides to go intangible. He says, oops, well, goodbye. But the shadow wave hits the boat. Everybody's screaming. Why is the sea so angry? But as Ben is in air, he sees Lucy with actually Natsu with him. He slides down and asks if they're okay. That's when Happy says they're alright. And is Natsu okay? Ben says yeah. And Lucy says, speak for yourself. That's when Lucy sees Natsu and screams his name. And says, is he okay? So Ben sees Natsu try to run away from him, and then jumps on top of the wrecked boat and asks if he's okay. But Natsu says, look at the salamander. Says, so you claim to be a member of Fairy Tail Guild, huh? And the salamander says, so say, what is it to you? He needs to get him. But they charge at him. Lucy tells him to watch out, but Natsu just takes up his jacket. And Ben says, why is he stripping? That's when Happy says, don't worry, he's a wizard. Ben says, why is he stripping though? And Lucy's shocked. But Ben says, I don't get it. What's going on? He just met them a couple minutes ago. But Natsu then smacks a thug to reveal the mark on his shoulder. He says, I'm a Fairy Tail wizard. And it's like, oh, so that's why everybody's shocked. And I've never seen you. Lucy says, you gotta be kidding me. Ben says, you still didn't know what Fairy Tail is. Lucy says, seriously? But then Thug says, the mark is a real deal. Bro. And says, don't call me that. That's when Ben says, who's Burrow? And Happy says that he's Burrow the Prominence. Remember how he was kicked out of the Titan Nose Wizard Guild because he had bad behavior. Ben says that if Natsu doesn't beat him up, I'm gonna beat him up. But then Natsu says he has no idea what he's trying to do here. He doesn't care if he's a good or bad guy. But he's not letting him dirty the Fairy Tail Guild's name. He says, what are you gonna do about it? He then says, Prominence Typhoon. But as he does this, Ben 10 flies up and helps him. But then he hears, that's so gross. That's when he sees Natsu eat flames and Ben thinking, there's like heat blast. That's when Burrow says, what is this guy? Happy says, that's fire magic. Doesn't work on Natsu. He says, he never seen anything like that. As it says, that he has fire in his belly. There's fire in his belly that's raging to get out. He then smacks his fist together. There's a huge magical circle. He then says, here goes nothing. Says, Fire Dragon War. And shoots a huge blast of fire. And that almost hits Ben. But as Burrow dodges, somebody says, so you've seen this guy before. Then says, wait, can't be, it's him. And Lucy interrupts with, the Salamander? But as Ben's throwing Burrow around, and Ben lands next to Lucy, he says, he's fire. No, but how? That's when Happy says, he's a dragon, he has dragon lungs that allow him to breathe in fire. And dragon scale allows him to dissolve it. And dragon claws to attack with. Says that he's pretty strong. Yes, Ben transforms back to normal, Lucy asks. And what about you? I never heard of magic like that. He can turn someone into a full monster, let alone about a magical circle. And a monster like him? She's never seen anything like him. Ben says, he was thinking in our time. Maybe. But Happy says that Natsu can also take on the qualities of dragon. And it's an ancient spell that's not used anymore. It was originally used to deal with dragons. Says, but Ben says, wait, isn't he beating up Burrow too much? But they ignore him. And says that Igneo originally taught him it. Ben says, why would a dragon teach dragon killing magic? But then he sees Burrow throw a huge fireball at Natsu. Natsu, who just eats it up, and then punches Burrow into a belt and knocks him out. He says, that was amazing, but Ben says, he destroyed the entire town. We can't say he did any better when he was younger. Well, he could fight, but not as much damages. I'm not sure. Let me hear his metal foot stopping. Then Lucy looks back and says, the army's here? And says, in his experience, it's not wise to stay behind when you're a brand new hero. But then Natsu grabs Lucy, and Ben says, hey, wait up for me. Lucy says, crap, gotta get out of here. Ben says, wait, why am I going with you guys? I barely know you. And Lucy says that she didn't even fight. But then Natsu says, come on, didn't you say you wanted to join Fairy Tail, Lucy? Hey Ben, you seem like a strong wizard. You just help Fairy Tail out. And if you don't have a guild, Fairy Tail could always use more wizards. And people who are willing to help others. Ben says, who said I'm joining your club? But as he turns around, he sees the guards. He says, damn it. And he starts running with Natsu again. He says, you're a bunch of idiots. But what Ben doesn't know is that currently a mysterious being that sent him here in the first place, setting up a large group of chairs. As he finishes setting up the chairs, he walks to the podium and snaps his fingers. When he does this, every one of Ben 10's villains appears, yet the more violent ones being restricted and having their abilities gone, like Rokax. But that's when Dr. Diamond says, what is going on? With him threatening each other. He says, it seems like every person that's faced Tennyson has shown up. Everybody turns around and see Albedo. But somebody says, but wasn't this interesting? Then shows Kyber sharpening a sword. Then Billion says, but why are we all here? Our hatred couldn't have just brought us all here. Then Dr. Psychobo says, it's most likely has to do something with the being there. Then somebody looks and sees the being that brought Ben here. Then Kyber points his weapon and tells him to release him if he doesn't want his head mounted. Then being says, come on Kyber, look behind you. Then Major looks behind and sees sort of Ben's biggest villains restrained like Hex, Malturant, Rokax. Then Albedo says, who are you? Being says, he's somebody that wants entertainment, the one they can provide. But guys, I'm actually going to end the video here. But if you guys want more of this what if, I'm gonna set a like goal for this video. And the like goal was 50 likes. With that said, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and everything else in between. And peace out.